How are you always so consistently composed and confident? You detach yourself from it to some degree, you know, and I don't mean in a disinterested way. You know, like if I'm doing an interview now with someone who's attacking me,
Could you let me talk to her for a moment?
Don't call me that, please.
and I can get irritable. I think I was too irritable in the GQ interview, for example, which some of you might have watched.
Right?
Man, live.
But that's
How can
true.
you say something like that?
Hey,
It's so cliched.
I think, well, I'm not going to jump to conclusions about how this is going to go, even with regards to how it feels right in the moment. We'll see how it unfolds across time, and I'll try to manage myself in the moment with the least amount of upset that I can manage. And it's part of the doctrine of minimal necessary force. If you have a dispute with someone, and let's say that they have to be defeated in some sense in comparison to you, you don't want to defeat them any more than necessary. You know, it's like you pin them and then let them up. Minimal necessary force, because any more than that just produces a counter reaction. And I guess the other thing is my motivation. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to say what I think as clearly as I can. There might be one of the consequences of that might be what appears to be a victory, but the right victory is the victory for your ability to articulate what you believe. And then you wouldn't be asking me this question if you didn't think at some level that some improvement in your verbal ability would be useful to you. Well, so how do you do that? You write. The reason you write is because writing forces you to articulate your thoughts. It organizes your brain around whatever it is that you're writing about. And one of the easiest ways to write, there isn't any real easy way, but one of the easiest ways to write is to write down a problem. It's like, what problem is bothering me? Well, you can write about that, first of all, to get the problem clear, because that's a hard thing. Then you start to write about what might possible solutions be. And you fight with those solutions because, you know, you want to kill off the stupid ones. And then you could try talking more at dinner parties a little bit more once you formulate your thoughts. You have to be willing to be somewhat of a bumbling fool to begin with, right? And if someone has said rude things to you, for example, there's things that have to be said, but that doesn't mean you can just blurt them out. You have to have a plan. You have to figure out what you want to say. You have to make it as minimally troublesome as possible. You have to have the goal that you want in mind, and you have to have a backup plan. Like this, the sort of thing that you're talking about, you know, where you need to say something. That's like a little war. You don't want to walk into that unarmed and unprepared. That means that you should set up your life so that you're firmly enough anchored in a variety of different ways so that you can say what you need to say without dying as a consequence. So let's say I got self-conscious all of a sudden during this Q&A. What would happen is that I'd stop paying attention to the questions and the screen and what I'm doing, and I'd start paying attention to how I was feeling and to the nervousness, and then I'd start to get aware that I was not responding properly, and that would make me more nervous, and then I would get more aware of that, and that can just shut me down entirely. And that's happened to me now and then in a lecture, and sometimes it almost happened when I was talking to Sam Harris the first time. I paused for a long time and then became aware of the pause, and then anyways, what you have to do in a situation like that is not so much that you have to stop attending to yourself, because if you start thinking I should stop attending to myself, then you'll just think about yourself more. What you have to do instead is pay more attention to the situation and to the people that you're talking to. So you have to increase the degree to which you're attending outwardly, and that'll stop you from attending inwardly.